Hey everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. On today's video, we're going to be making these delicious bread rolls. Yeah, they're so delicious and so easy to make with very few ingredients that you probably already have in your kitchen if you like to bake. But if you like to try new things like we do around here, definitely stick around for this one. Alright guys, let's get straight into it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to bloom our yeast. Do well to check the description box because all the ingredients and the measurements are going to be there. So in this cup I have warm milk and I've added some sugar and my yeast. And I'm going to be telling you more about that later. But make sure your yeast is alive. So I mix that and I set aside. So we're going to go ahead to sieve our flour while our yeast is blooming on the side. My yeast died 3 times because the yeast I was using had stayed too long in the house. So basically it wasn't blooming. So I did that 3 times until my yeast bloomed. I had to go get yeast from my neighbor. Tip, make sure you have good neighbors that you're friends with. Anyways, back to our recipe. So I just added some salt into the flour and I'm just combining that. So sorry for the exposure here, but I was just trying to show you that my yeast has bloomed. And then we're going to be combining everything. So this is the butter that I'm using. And I'm showing you here that butter has some measurements in 25 grams. I'm using 50 grams for this recipe. So I'm showing you where I cut it off. So it's very easy just to cut off how much you need from, the measurements on the pack of the butter. Anyways, yeah. So try to use that kind of real butter. There are many different brands because it definitely impacts on the taste of your bread. So in our bloomed yeast, I added my egg. And then I'm going to add my 50 grams of butter. See, I'm trying to show you again that the measurement on the pack of the butter is going to help me just cut off 50 grams exactly without, having to mess up my hands or mess up any plates or spoons or whatever in trying to measure this. So this really does help and just makes life so much easier. So I know that that's exactly 50 grams. And make sure you're using room temperature butter so that your butter mixes in easily and, just makes everything blend better. So I'm just going to pour my yeast mixture in there. So that has sugar, yeast, and eggs. And then I'm going to start mixing. I did reserve that little bit just to see that, I didn't use too much water. Not water, the liquid. But I saw that I definitely needed everything. And then I poured it in. So just mix. Your dough is going to start to come together gradually. It's going to look as if, oh my gosh, this is not going to come together. You need a lot more liquid. But no, don't do that. Don't add any more. Just keep mixing. Very soon I'll switch to my hands. But, just keep going. It does take some time. It does take some patience and some effort. But just keep mixing. See how that has come together. I didn't add any more liquid. It was exactly what I measured. And like I said, all the ingredients and the measurements are in the description below. So now I switch to my hands and I'm just trying to put everything into a ball. The dough is not going to be smooth right now at all. It's not going to be smooth at this point, but I'm just trying to knead it as much into a clean ball And once you have a clean bowl and a round ball, then you let your dough rest for about 15 to 30 minutes. So here I'm just preparing my pan. If you have a regular baking pan or a ceramic baking dish, that would be most appropriate. But here we use what we have to achieve what we want. So I'm just showing you also that you can use a foil pan, but make sure it's well buttered and floured, and that's what I'm doing here. So just apply butter generously and then put some flour and dust the pan with the flour, and your pan is ready. So there you go. So my dough has been resting for about 30 minutes, and as you can see, it's definitely softer than what it was when we started. The dough has had time to hydrate, and so I'm going in to start kneading. So I'm going to knead this for about 7 minutes, and then I'm going to cover it to rest again for another 5 minutes. And then I come back and knead it some more. As you allow your dough to rest, your flour and the liquid incorporate better. Your dough becomes more elastic and softer and just pliable. So I didn't know my camera wasn't recording, where I let my dough sit and proof for about 30 minutes. So it started blooming, it started rising. Then I came in, divided the dough into 2 equal parts, and started to form my dinner rolls. I'm trying to get 15 dinner rolls here, so they won't be exactly the same size except to use a scale. But then I just tried, to use my discretion a little bit to get 15 balls. So the first half I got 8 balls, and then the second one I got 7 balls. So there you go. So I'm going to show you with this second one how to roll your ball to become as smooth as that. If your dough is not well rested, if it's not well kneaded, it won't be this smooth. So you definitely need to make sure your dough rests very well. So you see how I'm cupping my hands, my little finger and my thumb are sort of supporting the dough on each side as I roll like that. It does take some practice. It took me a while to be able to do this perfectly. So just start, and then as you keep doing it, you'll get better. This is the second time I'm actually making bread rolls. The first time I tested this recipe and I didn't use the butter I'm using in this recipe. In this particular recipe, I used a different kind of butter, in fact margarine, and I didn't like the taste, so I decided to use this expensive butter. So if you can use this real butter, don't use margarine. It will definitely give you a better taste. And if at this point you're enjoying this video and you're not subscribed to my channel, you guys know I always say, why do you want to be a family member and sleep outside? Get a room. There's room for everybody. Join this family and hit that subscribe button, and definitely give my video a thumbs up if you like what you see. So there you go. We have kneaded and rolled our 15 bread rolls, and that's the last one going in. See how smooth it is. Again, if your dough is not well rested, if it's not well kneaded, it won't be this smooth. So now I'm just going to cover this with a foil and allow it to proof for about 45 minutes in a warm space. So I put this in my oven. My oven is turned off, not on, because that's where, it's warm. And allow this to kind of double in size, and you see how those are looking perfect. They're looking good. If you think you're going to be able to try this recipe, let me know in the comments below, because baking is something that a lot of people don't really care for. But if you think this is something you can try, let me know in the comments below. So I'm just, brushing them with milk. You can use an egg wash if you prefer. It will make it shinier, but I just didn't want to waste an egg. So I brushed it with milk. I did that like 3 times. And you'll see how they came out. They weren't as shiny as an egg would be, but I still, like how they were. So you can use whichever you prefer. Definitely not water. So we're going to put that in the oven for about, it was in there for like 20 minutes. Should have been lesser. So mine got browner on the sides. So make sure you leave them in for about 17 minutes. And we have this buttery, delicious looking bread rolls. Can you see how they're not like shiny like an egg will be, but they don't look bad, right? For a second attempt, I would give these a maybe 6.5 out of a 10. What do you guys think? How did I do? So these bread rolls, I'm going to be pairing them with my next recipe, which would be my next video, or maybe it should be my next video, and you'll see how I pair them. And definitely do well to try this recipe, and leave me some bread emojis in the comments. If you like this video, leave me some bread emojis. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.